or what have you.
Okay. Well, let's get back to high school. Tell me about when you decided to get
Okay,
at Charleston High.
I went to what they might call high school in the 8th grade because they didn't have a seventh grade.
Okay.
And I failed the 8th twice in years. You know what I mean?
No, I didn't know.
failed the 8th grade twice.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Mm-mm.
Because there were prejudice.
Okay.
70 was a passing mark.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 70.
Uh-huh.
And I failed with a 69.5 average.
Mm.
Oh, that was bad because I ain't had nothing else to do but do all the things they asked me to.
Okay, and you did it, and you still got.
And I still, but they were prejudiced, Karen. They had to be prejudiced. All them white people. I sitting in one white school, but about 280 got kicked out. Dawson, Phil, but they said, you know Reverend Dawson, the other black guy that went to school with me. They said he cheated on his exam. I don't think he did, but you know, white folks were.
Yeah.
I was sitting behind a white girl, and they said I was talking rape to her. Now, I didn't even tell the girl anything out the mouth, so how could I say anything to her? I guess she said she was reading my thought. You can't read anybody's thought.
No. So didn't you play basketball for Charleston High?
They said, huh?
Did you play basketball for Charleston?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You remember?
I remember you were good.
Oh, hell, my man used to come on,
yeah,
too.
I remember.
My and hell,
you and Gerald used to play, too, right?
Oh, yeah, bucket. You remember that guy who was talking to me yesterday?
Yeah, Ellaby.
Ellaby.
Yeah. Ellaby said you used to teach him.
Mr. Reverend Sarah.
Yeah, he said you used to teach him basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Ooh, good. And, well, I was one of the best guards in not in the world, but I thought so. You know when you get a big head when you're black, especially when you black, think you're a pro, they're playing for the pros. Because they used to come home from church, and sometimes I take my suit off, and sometimes I don't sit in front of the television and just watch a professional game. But while I'm watching a professional basketball game, I just get involved in someone that I pick up on a couple of moves. And it's a professional move. And the dudes like 80 and red. I ain't trying to knock my brothers or nothing. But when they can't, you know, really do the same
They couldn't keep up with you?
No. They seem to be doing better than me because I like to admire things. Just like nature said. I ain't no fool sussy or nothing, but I like to see. Oh, wait, going off, Karen. I like to see
Okay, it's back on.
I like to see what you might call ladies picking the rose.
Yeah, so you like to get into art and nature. And
art,
stuff.
I took.
You used to draw. I still have.
You don't remember
I have your
when
art supplies.
You know, I
still have your art supplies.
You do?
Your chalk? I still have that.
Bring them when you come back.
Okay.
Because I was president in the OT class. You know what the OT means? Arts and Crafts.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I was president of that, president of the Glee Club.
Okay. I didn't know you sang.
You didn't know I was a good singer.
No, I knew Mom and Aunt Sandy sang, but I didn't know you were a singer too.
Man, yeah, I was president of the Glee Club for a whole year. I mean, the last.
So you went to Charleston High from 8th grade to 12th grade?
2 years of 8th.
2 years of 8th?
All the way to 12.
All the way to 12, okay.
But I couldn't play ball for 2 years, 1 year in the first 8th, because that'd give me 5 years. They only give you 4 years of sports.
Okay.
But when I got to what you might call the next 8th grade, I played junior varsity.
Okay.
And I used to jump center.
Okay.
I was about 5'11", and I used to jump center against these tall guys. About 6'4", 6'5" from St. Andrews, Maryland, St. James, all white. Couple black. But when I used to jump center, I never used to lose none.
Okay.
No jumps. you know, like elderberry, the tall guys like Willard, Shaq them. Shaq them jump center. You know, you go in the middle of the court and you jump for the basketball, the tap it to see which side to win the tap. Oh, I used to jump center and wasn't no taller than us. And when I used to jump for Justin, I never used to lose none of the guys who just told the Shaq them. But when I always win, they the boo, boo. Because I was short. I never used to get boos for nothing. But they used to throw, one night, they said on the well, I think it was semi-finals, they said that if they start the two black guys, which they were afraid they'd lose the semi-final, if they start the two black guys, they're going to do something bad to our family. Me and Leap. You know who Leap was?
No, I didn't know.
Henry Collins.
I didn't know.
He used to stay on top of Haynes Dinner. Right there on Morris Street. He was in high school.
So did y'all win the game?
Oh, no. No. We didn't win the game because they started us late. The coach just sat us on the bench to be careful because they threw some iron and pipes and stuff in the locker room where we was getting dressed at. And the locker room was sort of damp. And when the locker room was sort of damp, they threw what they might call pipes, iron rods, and bricks in the locker room. Some white guys from high school, some grown folks like KKK and stuff.
Now, I have the picture of you and Grandma from the newspaper walking to the school.
The lady at the house do too.
Yeah, and I painted it. Before I leave, I'm going to let you see it. But tell me what you remember about that day.
Well, me and my across the street on Rutledge Avenue.
Do you remember what date it was?
You know, I can't remember that. I think it was June.
Was it like June?
November
3rd, 63.
1963.
I got that one, but then there was another article that was written like in August. Did you go 2 times?
I went to... No,
Did you get registered before?
I registered once, and then I came back to start school.
Okay, so when did you register? You remember?
I couldn't remember. I think I registered in June. June 15th, 1963.
Okay, I'll have to look because the newspaper.
Because there was a coincidence, I keep remembering about days. There was a coincidence about high school. Graduation, Air Force, and discharge from the Air Force.
They were all on the same date? June 15th? Okay.
And I think one of my sons, Tracy, was born on the same day.
Okay.
And I never could get what I might call none of it really down pat in my head about whether or not all of them was on the same date or none.
Okay.
But all I can remember now is me sitting wherever I used to sit at and what you may call, Karen, in the Air Force one day.
Okay.
I was sitting down in meditation. You know the way I sit down in the meditating position with my legs crossed and folded up. On campus, not campus, but because I learned that when I was in college. You know, the white boys sit down, the white girls, and do their homework on the grass by the lake. They have a little lake up there. And I said to myself,
did you say Uncle Mink?
I said to myself something, and then the guy said, why don't you be quiet and shut the hell up? And I was about 40 feet away from wherever they call the hoochie bar and drink beer. and I didn't say a word.
Oh, so they would just pick on you just because.
No, I was meditating.
Oh, you were meditating.
And that seemed to be sort of like something supernatural to me.
Okay.
I said, now how the devil could I do something like that? And it got me scared.
Now, was this high school or was this was when
this
you
was in the Air Force.
Okay.
I was sitting down. Karen, look, you knew the way I crossed
when
my
you cross your
leg.
legs and you sit like Chinese meditation. Okay.
And I was sitting in the Chinese shack where we go to sleep at, and up to the left where they drink beer at, about 40 feet away. He said, "Why don't you shut the hell up?" I didn't say a word. Was
he talking to you or somebody else?
He was talking to me.
Oh.
And I heard what he said because I could read my own thoughts. But he said a couple words like I said to myself about this book you got. That's what he said. I was talking about the Holy Bible when I was meditating. A couple of verses I recited to myself, but I didn't say any words about it.
Okay. Now, when did you graduate from?
Oh, I graduated from high school, like I said, because I flunked twice. 1971, June 15th, 1971.
Another June 15th.
Oh, cool.
And then did you go to college?
Well, I did. Right there at Montreat. You remember?
Okay.
Oh, that was where Billy Graham home was at.
Okay.
And it was about 1 mile and 40 feet away from campus, about campus now.
Okay.
He had a helicopter pad.
This is Billy Graham?
Yeah.
Now, did you play basketball at Montreat?
Boy, yeah.
Okay.
I played 1 year. And the next year, the coach said, the first day when I went out, to play basketball, he said to me, go get dressed. I was a little crybaby. But I almost started crying because I thought he told me I can't play for the team. But instead he said, yep, you made the team.
Oh, good.
But he was trying to joke at me when he said, go get dressed. You know how sometimes you throw a frown or a smile. It was a halfway frown, but a real bitter smile.
Okay.
Because he said, go get dressed. It seemed to me now, I ain't stupid or nothing to say nothing too hard. But he said to me, go get dressed. And I thought it meant that, go get dressed.
Go home?
I didn't, yeah.
But you got dressed.
But he said, go get dressed to stay and play for the team.
Okay.
Okay. So I went to get dressed. And then as soon as I went to get dressed, there was a guy. And he said, I think we can get some beer, fella. You want to get a beer? I was afraid to drink beer because I was... I wasn't never no street guys hanging on the block over here.
Yeah, you told me you stayed at the house.
I stayed in the house because I used to go on Ware Street to watch Johnny then play football, touch football. They used to run low and throw the pass, but they didn't stay no further than, how long Ware Street is, but they didn't stay no further than half the way